Hi guys, it's Elaine here, the Animal Reiki Lady. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am coming to you from beautiful sunny Colorado on a gorgeous day here. Hang on a second, Jack the dog is coming over to join us. He's just gonna lay right down. Okay. First of all, for those of you who may be catching this for the very first time, my name is Elaine and I am the Animal Reiki Lady. I am an Animal Reiki master and practitioner, and I help people make deeper connections with their animals. I help them understand their relationship with their animals, and I also help all of us understand the deep, deep connection that we have with the animals that share our planet. And part of that has evolved into animals that cross to the Rainbow Bridge, our animal companions that spend their life with us and that cross to the Rainbow Bridge through meditation and other techniques and practices that I do every single day to connect with animals. I have started to connect with those who have crossed to the other side, including my own two, Winston and Lucy, who passed within a week of each other this past summer. And they're the ones who actually opened the door, especially Lucy. And then one of my fosters, Jake. I foster seniors. All of my dogs were seniors, and Lucy in particular has just opened this conduit. And now I share messages about this, and that's what this is. And today I want to tell you the story that happened to me yesterday, the cat that came back to life in my arms. And I will tell you a little bit more about that in just a second. But I also want to share, especially for those of you who may be catching this video, it's early on in my little YouTube career, and I actually post this everywhere on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. And the reason is because I have so much of this message that I want to share. There's so much that the animals want to share with all of us. And I also do all of my videos off the cuff. So nothing is scripted, nothing is edited. I do not go back and add fun little things and sometimes I try to do like they'll post something up there in the corner. But that's probably about as much as my technical ability lets me, but it doesn't matter because there is a message coming through from the animals who could care less about how beautiful and amazing a video and how perfect things come out. They just want to get their message across, and that's how I do things, and that's how I share with you. So if you've caught any of my earlier videos, I used to always hold my little Winston in my arms. He was my little snuggle bunny. He was in almost every live stream that I did. He was my little mascot. And Winston was we suspect, about a 12-year-old King Charles Cavalier. And he crossed. He was very ill, and he was not a foster, he was a rescue. I swear aliens dropped him off. We were my husband and I, living full-time in an RV at the top of the Rocky Mountains in the middle of nowhere, and Winston one day just showed up. And so he is with me now in spirit, if not in his little physical body. And he's one of the animals now who inspires me to share this message. Also, part of what I do, 1 or 2 days a week, I spend time at a pet cremation service. I know that's an uncomfortable topic for some people, but trust me, the fulfillment in my heart that I get from helping people, my role there is to help people, comfort people, help them work through their grief in a way by memorializing their animal. So they bring their pets to us for afterlife care, and so their pets have passed, and their grief is so strong, their love is so strong, sometimes their guilt is so strong that they need to find a way to express that, and we help them through memorializing their animal companion. And I've got my own. I'm not wearing it today, but hang on, I'm going to grab this. Yeah, so you just got a big view of my white shirt. Apologize for that. Like I said, I do everything right off the cuff, unscripted. So this is my little Lucy here. Lucy, who passed in August, and we've got her in a little Rainbow Bridge memorial. And then my Winston, in fact, I'll even put him on now. My Winston, a little bit of Winston I keep in a locket close to my heart all the time. All right, so I do this usually 2 times a week. I go there just to work with clients and to care for their animals. And since I've made this connection with animals at the Rainbow Bridge, it's a whole different experience for me when someone brings me their animal who has passed. And the feelings that I get from them, the connection that I get from them, the respect, the love, the beauty, the peace, it's just an amazing way for me to open a space of love and compassion for their human companion who's been left behind. So yesterday, an elderly woman brought to us her cat. She had called first to say that her cat passed in the middle of the night, and she was obviously bereft, and could she bring him in to be cared for? Absolutely. So we've made all the arrangements, and because of the situation that we are currently in, I don't like to use the C word, but COVID. Because of that, people can't come into our building at the moment. So we take people one at a time, people and their pets one at a time, outside of our building, outside of our facility. So I went out when she arrived to bring in her cat. We'll call the cat Freddie. So to bring in Fred, and we're not allowed to bring in any outside cloth. So no material, no collars, nothing like that. And so I brought out a little blanket to swallow. I brought out a little blanket to swaddle. That's the word I'm looking for. To swaddle Fred, to wrap him up, to bring him in to be cared for. And if I can describe Fred for you, he was very old. So I would guess approaching 20, which is a beautiful old life for a cat. Sometimes they live 20. The oldest cat that I've cared for is 23. And he was very emaciated, so his little body had almost nothing left to him. His fur was a little bit matted. He was a Persian, and so he had that really cool Persian face. And his eyes were closed, and he was laying on the front seat, and I went to pick him up. And when I went to pick him up, I felt something different. I felt something different than I had felt with other animals in my care, but he was not, to the best of my knowledge, he had passed. And so I picked him up, and went cradling him in my arms to bring into the building. And when I walked into our building, he did this. And then he did this. And both of his eyes opened, and he just looked right at me. So clearly Fred had not passed yet. This happens from time to time. If you're not aware, if you have not had an elderly animal who has passed, a dog or a cat or any other animal, if you've not had an animal like that pass, they sometimes, what I call experiment or travel. They go back and forth between the Rainbow Bridge and here. They may stop breathing for periods of time, for long periods of time. It's that time when they stop eating and stop taking water, and they may appear to be gone, but the second that you touch them, it brings them back to this reality. It's like they're experiencing what it's going to be like to go, but they haven't fully left yet, because sometimes, just like us, they love their physical little bodies, and they love their relationships with us. And so they may go away for a while, and they come back for a while. I've seen this happen more with dogs than with cats, but that's clearly what happened with this particular cat. He had been experimenting with going across to the Rainbow Bridge, and the second that he was cuddled and held, it brought him right back. And he looked at me, and although he couldn't move, I promised that his body, I can understand how his human companion may have mistaken this for his passing. He was so frail and so skinny. There was nothing left. Much his skin and bones was all that was left to his little body. But I carefully set him down. I called over a coworker who stayed with Fred while I went out to the car to explain to the owner that Fred had not passed. And so she was equally startled as I, and it was a combination of happiness and sadness and misunderstanding and not knowing what to do. And so together we worked out that she would take Fred to the vet, because Fred probably was going to need help with a transition, or to see if there was anything else that could be done for Fred. So that was what we were going to do. And I went inside and collected Fred, again, cradling him in my arms. He's all swaddled in a blanket, and he looked at me eye to eye. His eyes were the most beautiful golden color. I've never seen anything like it. They were gold, and there was flecks, and they were sparkly. They were like magic. His eyes were like a little magic view into his soul. And yeah, it's making me a little bit emotional, but that's okay. It was a view into his soul, and when I looked into his eyes, it was like I could see my soul as well. It was a beautiful, beautiful, spiritual, energetic connection. And so I'm cradling him in my arms, and I wanted to take him home with me right then and there. Right then and there, I wanted that little guy to come home with me, and I wanted him to spend his last minutes with me. But of course, that wasn't my journey, nor was it his journey. And I brought him out to the car, and we nestled him on the front seat of the car. And we were talking very animatedly now, because it was amazing. Although his body really was not capable of any movement, his head was, and he looked up, and his ears perked up, and he looked at her, and he looked at me, And there was such tenderness and such love and such joy. It was like the briefest moment he realized that this life is amazing, that this beautiful place is amazing, that he was surrounded by people who loved him and cared for him. And it filled my heart with the deepest sense of compassion and peace and love. As an animal Reiki master, what I typically do is the opposite. I call myself a reverse empath. I share with the animals that sense of love. I remind them that they're loved. I remind them that there's peace and compassion all around them, that they can allow their body to do what it's naturally meant to do. And I open that space of love for them, and just I imagine that it's this beautiful mist that extends from my heart, and I invite them to join. Well, this was just the opposite. He had opened his heart so fully for us. You could just feel it was like this beautiful cloud, fog, mist of love that surrounded all of us, and it made us feel so amazing. And he looked at her in the eyes, and he looked at me straight in the eyes, and this sense of happiness and peace just filled us both. I'm still riding high, and this was a day ago, and I'm still so in love with life just from that connection with him. And so that's the message that I'm bringing today from the Rainbow Bridge. And I'm going to continue these stories, Tales from the Rainbow Bridge, as animals inspire me, especially the animals that cross. And I've already gotten a sense this morning that he's crossed. And what do they have to share? The lesson that I learned from him yesterday was to be so grateful for every single minute of our life. No matter where we are at, no matter what the external circumstances look like, no matter what we look like, those we are sharing this space with, no matter what experience we are in at this moment, just take a moment to appreciate where we are. Smell the roses, smell the coffee, drink the wine, go for the walk, pet your dog, hug your cat. Whatever it may be, this is the moment to do it. Live in the moment, enjoy the moment, and feel the love of all of the animals and creatures that share this space. So that's the message that I was inspired to bring to you today. Sharing the story of Fred. His real name's not Fred, by the way. I changed all that because I don't think that anybody would ever watch this video who might have shared that life with him, but you never know. So I like to keep that kind of anonymous. But it doesn't matter, because the love he shared was not just meant for me and wasn't meant to be kept anonymous. That love is meant for all of us. So I hope you all, wherever you are in the world, have an amazing day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you happen to be. I hope you enjoyed this message. And I know, since I'm going to be posting this on YouTube, that I'm supposed to say, please hit the bell over there. Hit the like button over there that says you've enjoyed this video. Put a comment below if you'd like to share anything. And I think the subscribe button is over here. So my goal with this channel is to grow and share the messages from the animals who have crossed to the Rainbow Bridge, and so much more. As an animal Reiki master, I have now spent so much time, years, spending time with thousands of animals, and it's time to share their messages. All right, guys, I love you so much. I will talk to you soon. Big love from me and from Fred, and we will talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye. Now I got to figure out how to end the video.